Hey everyone, it's Paige, and today I'm here with a review of Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Renegades comes out November 7th. Okay, so as most of you know, I was really excited to jump into this. Marissa Meyer is one of my favorite authors. I love the Lunar Chronicles. I haven't read Heartless yet because I've heard mixed things on it. So I was really excited to jump into another like kind of sci-fi, fantasy, whatever sort of world with Marissa Meyer, and something that was brand new. I was kind of disappointed. Renegade starts off with a ton of action. There's a lot of go, and you're introduced to at least like 6 or 7 different characters within the first 20 pages. So from the very start, I was just like really confused and I didn't really know what was going on, and I couldn't get a grasp of the setting and the characters, and because I have the ARC, there wasn't a character list, so I couldn't just like flip to the front and be like, okay, who is this? Oh, okay, got it, and then like keep reading. So that kind of sucked. I think one of the highlights of Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles series is that the characters really stand on their own and they're very defined, whereas in Renegades it feels like the settings are more defined than the characters themselves, and the characters just fell kind of flat for me. They just felt kind of bleh. As I was reading this, I was updating my Goodreads a lot, so I'm just gonna read like some of the things that I was thinking while I was reading this. At about 56 pages, I said, I'm so confused. WTF is going on? Who are these people? Gah. That's not really great to know that at 56 pages, I still didn't have a grasp of characters and who they were. There's superheroes and villains in this. So one is called Renegades and the others are called Anarchists. They each have their own special power and their own identity and secret identity. So you're kind of trying to remember 3 different things as this goes, and with being introduced to so many characters right from the start, it was kind of like, what is going on? I don't know who these people are. I don't know about their motivations. Like, why are they trying to kill each other? Why is the world the way it is? Like, there was just a lot being thrown at me. And I felt that way throughout most of the novel too. I felt like it was a lot of info dumping, which I guess kind of makes sense for the first novel, but at the same time I felt like there was other ways it could have gone around that. There were parts where it didn't feel like there was a lot of action, and then there were other parts where it just felt like the action was kind of smooshed together and I didn't really know, again, what was going on. So this whole thing was just kind of like, blah, like you're on a roller coaster the entire time. Then at page 110, I said, okay, now I'm getting a handle on these characters, which is about 20% into the novel, and again, I feel like that's not the greatest thing to be finally understanding characters at that point. I mean, this is a really thick book, but still, there's a lot that happens, but there's a lot that doesn't happen. There's a lot of like filler text. About 36% into the novel, I said, so this feels like a mix of The Hunger Games, Warcross, and Ender's Game. Which that's totally true. It felt like The Hunger Games #1 because there's this trial that all these prodigies have to go through if they want to become a renegade, which are the good guys, and they basically just have to display their talent to the entire Renegades team, which is about like 30 or 40 people, I think, and then there's like a crowd setting so a bunch of people can watch. And that's why I also kind of felt like Warcross, because in the beginning of Warcross, the games are held in a public setting and there's like a lot of cheering and like woo and then boo, you know, like that kind of thing. So I feel like that's maybe a staple for like these kind of dystopian novels, is like crowd settings where people are yay or boo. And it also felt like Ender's Game because, again, it's like set in the future, but it also, you're throwing a lot of like tech stuff at you, and you know, they have all these like cool gadgets and stuff. Most of the setting for this takes place in Gatlin City, which felt a lot like Gotham. Like there are really crime-ridden places and then other places that are really nice, and it just kind of felt like a knockoff of Batman's city. I don't know why I felt that way, but the entire time I was like, are they in Gotham? Because it really feels like Gotham. Even the names are kind of similar. Ugh. Let's talk about the characters. So the first main character is Nova, and her alter ego is Nightmare. So her ability is that when she touches people, she can like send them into sleep, and she also doesn't sleep. Ever. And Nova is an anarchist, so she's one of the bad guys. And then we have Adrian, who is kind of Nova's foil, and Adrian is a renegade and he's one of the good guys. His ability is that when he draws things, he can bring them into life. So if he drew a car, he could like bring the car into the real world. And they meet up in the very beginning of the novel, so they kind of, you know, get a feel of like, you're my enemy, no, you're my enemy. And then Adrian also has this other alter ego of the Sentinel. He also has that like alter ego going on. Within Nova's team, they're constantly trying to take down the Renegades because they think they're the bad guys, even though the anarchists are the bad guys. It's Nova's job to infiltrate the Renegades and try to find out like all their secrets and weaknesses and all that so she can report back to her team and be like, okay, this is how we're gonna take them down. And within the Renegades, she is known as Insomnia, but they don't know that she's also Nightmare. And Adrian has like a vengeance out for Nightmare because she defeated him in battle at the very beginning of the novel. That means there's just this constant like back and forth of, I'm on your team, I'm not on your team, I'm with these guys, but wait, now I like these guys. So there's a lot of like double identities and cross identities and secrets and things that we don't know, and I still didn't know at the end of the novel because I think this is going to be a duology, so it's probably going to be revealed in the next one, but I'm not super thrilled to read the next one because I thought this was just kind of dull, so... But it did end on a cliffhanger, and I'm kind of like, man, am I gonna have to read the second one now? All of that being said, with the, like, secret identities and everything, there are multiple instances where there are people captured from Nova's team that the Renegades try to, like, interrogate, and multiple times they, like, drop hints that Nova is Nightmare and that, you know, she's infiltrating their system, and these people on the Renegades team are just so... I guess the best way to say it is that they're, like, borderline ignorant. They don't pick up on the hints that people are dropping, and I even said in my Goodreads status update, oh come on, even I would have figured out by now, and I'm an idiot 98% of the time. Which is true! There was just so many times I was like, oh my god, like, any logical person would have figured out who Nova is. Then interestingly, at 74% in the novel, I said characters, kinda dull, need more oomph. Settings, marginally more interesting than the characters, but also lack oomph. I really wish this would hurry up. I was talking to two different people about this book while I was reading it, and I said to both of them separately that I wish the novel had gone faster and that there was just more room for me to like fill in the blanks myself. I just felt like there was so many times where things were explicitly stated and I didn't really need that to happen. I feel like in the Lunar Chronicles you're kind of, you know, left to like fill in the blanks by yourself, whereas with this it was just like, this is the way things are, accept that. And I was like, I don't really need to be spoon-fed my novels. Then at 77%, I said, this is going to end on a cliffhanger, I'm sure, and I'm already mad about it. And it did. It ended on a cliffhanger. Overall, I did give this one 2 out of 5 stars. It just lacked a lot of different things that I was looking for in a Marissa Meyer novel. And I really wanted to like this too, just because I do love Marissa Meyer's other work. But yeah, the whole thing felt kind of meh. That being said, Fierce Reads, thank you very much for sending this to me. I do appreciate it. It was certainly an interesting sci-fi novel that I haven't experienced in a long time. I'm gonna go with that. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Are you gonna pre-order Renegades? Let me know in the comments below. I'm actually really interested to hear what you think. If you have read it, also come talk to me. That ending was so bizarre and it didn't make any sense, and I was like, oh my god, there was no foreshadowing for this at all. If you do pre-order this, get ready for a wild ending. As always, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find me in the links below. I've got Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, my regular blog down there. You can check me out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye! Yeah, 41%. Gatlin City kind of reminds me of Gotham. Like, in the very... No. Is that a spoiler? Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's Noah... No, Noah. Infiltrate the anarchists and... No! Damn it!